American culture is African American in a lot of ways, both the incorporation of African culture into European culture, into various European cultures and into the other cultures that make up this country, and the pushback against that seems so foundational to what makes America be America, whether that's music, whether that's art, whether that's politics, whether that's culture, whether that's social services, whether that's how we treat one another. That thing, I think it's the same people talk about when people talk about jazz, that idea of like that is a music that could only come out of American culture. And so for good and ill, it's a culture that I think defines itself both by absorbing and pushing back against the African experience in the Americas. And I think that to me is really interesting. I feel like I'm just starting to learn about how much slaves were used as collateral in terms of building American institutions. There was just that whole thing about, is it Georgetown University in DC? Which again pushes against that whole like warm family relationship. Like, yes, your warm family that you were also willing to use as collateral to settle your debts, sure. But I mean, it's foundational on that level. It's foundational to capitalism. It's foundational to culture and to the arts and in all these ways, and I think it energizes us and it terrifies us and we fight it and we embrace it and that feels like that push and pull gives this culture so much meaning. And then watching other immigrant groups come in and where they fit in on that spectrum, and you know, like whether you're going back 100 years or more, like Irish people come here and there are people who are like, nope, you're awful, and they're like, but we're white, and then it's okay. Italians come here, and you know, all those cultures that then kind of figure out their place in the melting pot in so many ways by pushing against African American culture and African Americans, and what that does, how that corrupts us and corrodes us, but also how that has the potential to give us, to be so rich, and is so rich and so complicated. And I'm really fascinated by that and really interested in being a part of that going forward, and kind of being my own weird self with my spinning wheel and my sea shanty band. And people are like, that's not very black of you. And I'm like, well, I get to do that. I'm an American. So that's kind of a wonderful thing. So it never stops being interesting.